Hi, welcome to Unit 3 of Q Skills 2, Listening and Speaking. Today we're going to look at the grammar of using should and shouldn't. And this is what we're going to do. Here's the overview, or the lesson plan. We're going to learn how to use should and shouldn't for giving advice and making suggestions. And then we're going to look at an example conversation between two friends. And then I'm going to ask you to practice giving advice and making suggestions using should and shouldn't. After that, we're going to learn how to use should and shouldn't for giving your opinion. And again, we'll use an example conversation. And over to you, practice giving your opinion. Next, we'll look at some common mistakes that people make when they use should and shouldn't to avoid them. We will look at Q Skills 2, and this is page 54 in your listening and speaking book, and we'll do an exercise there. And finally, I will ask you to do an exercise on the LMS in Q Skills Unit 2, Listening and Speaking. So, are you ready? Okay, let's start at point 1. Using should for giving advice and making suggestions. Okay, let's think about this situation. Our friends and us are often not sure what they want to do in the future. For example, they're not sure what job to do or where to go. It's the same for you and me. Sometimes, I'm not sure where I want to go on holiday, and maybe you're not sure what job to do in the future. So, our friends ask us for ideas, suggestions or advice to help them decide. What we're going to do is look now at a conversation between two friends. So, are you ready? This is John, and he's saying, I'm thinking of spending a year in Colombia next year, but I'm not sure if it's a good idea. What do you think? So John is asking us for advice, and he's asking us for suggestion. Now this is me. Well, Colombia is beautiful, but it's also quite dangerous. You shouldn't go there. In my opinion, you should choose a safer country, for example, Chile. And John says, yeah, that's a good idea. So what I'm doing here is saying you shouldn't go there is I'm giving advice. And you should choose a safer country, I'm making a suggestion or giving advice. It's the same. Now, please note, you shouldn't go, so it's shouldn't and the verb. It basically means my advice is please don't go there. And you should choose, so it's should plus the verb. It's my suggestion or my advice is choose a safer country. Okay then, now let's look at a conversation between you and Ahmed. What I'd like you to do is, this is the conversation, I'd like you to complete it with your suggestions or advice. So for example, Ahmed says, I don't know what to study next year. Can you help me decide, please? Yes, of course. I think because. So I want you to use should, and I want you to say the reason why. And Ahmed says, that's not a bad idea. Thanks. Okay, pause the video and think for a minute or two, and then I will show you my suggestion. Okay, here goes. Ahmed says, I don't know what to study next year. Can you help me decide, please? Well, my answer was, yes, of course. You should study IT because it's the fastest growing kind of business in the world. That's not a bad idea, thanks. You should study then is a suggestion or advice. Next, we're going to look at using should for giving your opinion. So, our friends also often tell us about the activities they want to do, or the jobs they want to do, or places they want to go. And we do not always think their ideas are good, or we have a better idea. So let's take a look. So we often tell them what we think and give them our opinion. That's what we're doing. Let's look at a conversation between two friends again. Okay, here goes. John, I'm going to buy a new tablet and I want to get the Samsung SPX Pro. Now, I don't think that's a very good idea. Say, oh no, that's really not a good idea. That model is not a good one. In my opinion, you should buy the Apple PDP-324. Some friends of mine have it and they say it's the best. Thanks for your opinion, but I prefer the Samsung. So he's asking for my opinion, and I'm basically saying you should buy. It means my opinion. You should buy means I think it's a good idea to buy the Apple PDP-324. That's basically what it means. Now, yet again, let's practice. Over to you. I'd like you to complete this conversation with your opinions. So here goes. Ahmed, I'm thinking of getting a new car. I'm between a Dodge and a Toyota. What do you think of them? Good question. I think you should hear because it is cheaper. And Ahmed says, yes, I know it's cheaper, but the Dodge is faster, more comfortable and safer. Okay, well, go ahead then, Ahmed. Okay, I'd like you to pause the video and think of how you give your opinion here using should. Let's have a look at what I put. I think you should buy the Toyota because it's cheaper to run than the Dodge. Okay, basically I'm giving my opinion and Ahmed agrees or disagrees. Okay, so now we've practiced using should and shouldn't in conversations. Let's have a look at some mistakes that many people make. These are common mistakes and they're quite easy. This is a little mistake that people make. Please remember that should and shouldn't is followed by the base form of the verb. Now, what does that mean? Let's take a look. For example, I think we should go out. Should is followed by the verb, but not with to. Students often make the mistake of adding to, and this is not correct. For example, I think we should to go out to eat. It's not, it's should go. So just be careful with that, and you'll be fine. Okay, so now what I want you to do is I would like you to open your books in the Unit 3 in Listening and Speaking and go to page 52, if you can please. Okay, let's go to page 52 as I suggested, and what I'd like you to do is look at this exercise on the page. What I'd like you to do is complete each sentence. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 sentences with should or shouldn't, but give your own opinion. Let's just try one together. Your best friend thinks she is sending an email to her parents. She sends it to you by mistake. You read it. Should or shouldn't? What do you think? You can choose one or the other. I think shouldn't in that case. What I'd like you to do is pause the video and complete number 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 and 8. Let's look at some suggested answers. The suggestions are in number 1, 3 and 5 shouldn't, and all the rest should. Okay, finally, let's look at the LMS. Let's go to the LMS. I need you to open the LMS and go to the Practice Unit 3 and choose the Grammar section, Modal Verbs Should and Shouldn't. The instructions are complete the conversation with should or shouldn't and the verb in parenthesis. Now parenthesis means it's like this, with these little lines around the side. So do is in parenthesis, relax is in parenthesis. If there is no verb in parenthesis, you should only use should or shouldn't. Okay, pause the video and do this now. Thank you. Okay, let's go back to the presentation. Thank you for watching and listening. It's been a pleasure, and see you all again soon.